Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth. And today, from Thomas Nelson, we have two brand new releases of the Sovereign series, and that is a full-size, large print. So let's go over the history of the Sovereign collection so far. Starting off with the King James Version of the Sovereign, in that personal size, beautiful drop caps, single column in the poetry, double column in the prose, textual footnotes and references on the bottom, beautiful red drop caps, beautiful red accents, and of course it has the words of Christ in red. Then later they released the new King James Sovereign, and this one is double column all the way through because of the word count, but still you have those beautiful drop caps, bottom references, red accents. When you get into the New Testament, of course the words of Christ are going to be in red. Then they came out with the wide margin. We're going to talk about these two in a little bit. But they came up with the King James and New King James wide margin. Now these were printed in India. The first set was printed in China. So there were some print consistency issues and the paper was a little different. But overall, you have these beautiful wide margins all the way around. And they went with gold drop caps on this. I feel like the reason they went with gold drop caps is because it kind of made the red letters look light because the drop caps were so dark. But I do like the gold drop caps, really nice and consistent. And then when you get into the New Testament, of course, the words of Christ are going to be in red. Really nice red. Love the wraparound columns. This was a great one. And of course, the New King James, very much the same, only this one's going to be double column all the way through. Gold drop caps, references and notes on the bottom, poetic settings in double column instead of single column, like the KJV was in single column. They also have short book introductions, which I think is really nice. And then when you get into the New Testament, as always, the words of Christ are in red. After that, they went back to the personal size and they released the RSV. This was a big move for Thomas Nelson. Really nice gilding. Really nice text block. The print on this is a bit more inconsistent here and there, but overall this is a beautiful, beautiful RSV. Then when you get into the poetic settings, it is going to be in that single column in the Psalms and Proverbs. And I believe in this one they also did Job in single column, yes. So all the poetry in this one is in single column. But then when you get to the New Testament, the words of Christ in this one are in black. And I really like this one. References on the bottom. It's got your concordance and your maps in the back. These did not have the edge line. These were more of a paste down vinyl liner, where the original set actually had a synthetic vinyl edge line. So now moving into the new Sovereign collection. Now I want to show these to you because it's pretty amazing. We're going to come back to this guy later. But King James and New King James, and these are printed in India. But let's go ahead and look at the King James on the personal size. Go ahead and open that up. And then we're going to look at the King James in the full size. Go ahead and open that up. And you're going to notice some immediate, beautiful differences. Number one, this has to be the most consistent print among all the Sovereigns I've seen. So kudos to brilliant printers in India for doing an amazing job on this print. But one thing that really stands out about this, number one, is you get a 1.5 larger font on this. This is a 10.5, this is a 9. But look at this gutter space. That is, oh man, that's the chef's kiss right there. Your text is well out of the gutter. If you do want to take some notes, you can. And you don't sacrifice much when it comes to this outside margin here. You can still take some notes. Really beautiful. So if you're a note taker and you just want to take your notes, then this wide margin is going to be the one for you. It's got that beautiful margin space all the way around. But if you're someone that just takes some limited notes and you just want a little bit of space here and there, this large print is it. Because again, this is a 9-point font. This is a 9-point font. The RSV is a 9-point font. This is a 10.5 point font. This is truly a large print. And as flat as this thing lays, it's just incredible. Now, I am not aware of any genuine leather editions of this yet, but when you look at the liner, this is a paper liner. So it is a bit reinforced with some bookbinder's tape, but this is going to tear a bit easily. So this cover is Leathersoft, which they make really nice. Check this out. I mean, that is lovely Leathersoft. Look at the grain. You got the tool lines. Really beautiful spine work that you're used to on the Sovereign. Gorgeous. 2 ribbons. Really nice gilding. I mean, they didn't hold back on their Leathersoft editions. The only thing is I wish they would have went ahead and put a vinyl liner here, but that's an upgrade. Hopefully they're going to come out with some more editions of this and more premium options. I do know in the personal size, we're about to get a Premier collection with the 36 GSM paper. So again, just absolutely beautiful. Love those drop caps. Love the consistency of this print. It's line match. The paper feels to be about 32 GSM, so it's a little bit thin. That line matching really does mask that ghosting. This is in a verse-by-verse format, so really nice, beautiful red accented verses. You've got a red accented line separating your notes and references from the text. Love this two-column layout. When you get into the poetry, the King James, of course, is going to be in that single column format. Love it. I love it when poetry looks like poetry. That's a privilege you don't often get in the King James Version. And of course, when you get to the New Testament, the words of Christ are going to be in red, and that's a good red, y'all. This is the best sovereign Bible they've come out with as of yet. So now let's go ahead and quickly look at the New King James, and then we're going to bring this guy into the equation. New King James, this was in brown Leathersoft. I like Holy Bible stamped on the cover. It's not my favorite thing, but I definitely like it in this context with the triple tool lines and a little bit of an accent stitching there, really nice. 2 ribbons, nice spine work. Nice gilding. This one has a couple scratches here and there, but that's going to happen as you use the Bible. And then, of course, paper liner. And then, same. Beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful poetic settings in the New King James. References on the bottom. Absolutely gorgeous layout. Really just almost perfectly consistent print. Every now and then, one of the drop caps will be a little bit too dark here and there, but overall, this is just beautifully done. Of course, New King James in double column all the way through. And then when you get to the New Testament, the words of Christ are going to be in red, and that's a really good red letter text. Love it. If you haven't seen the concordance, it does come with a little concordance in the back, and also closes out with some maps and that liner. So now, here's the big thing. Up until this point, the Canterbury owned the market when it came to a beautiful King James Bible in double column, large print format. That is no longer the case. Now I'm just going to do a really quick comparison. This is the Canterbury from Schuyler. Beautiful, beautiful drop caps. And you're going to see some subtle differences here and there between the two. But ultimately, if you are in the market, let's say that this Schuyler is out of your budget because you're going to pay $250 for this. Also, it's going to have that thin 28 GSM paper because as you can see with the camera, as you see both Bibles, the ghosting is not significantly different. 5 more grams per square meter of this paper makes it match just about the same as the 28 GSM French Indopake. So you're not giving up anything. The margin space is there, the references and notes are on the bottom, and actually this one doesn't include the textual footnotes, only the references. You get the advantage of the references and the notes in this. The drop caps in this one are a little bit larger, but then when you get to the poetry, you're going to have that same single column format in the Psalms and the Proverbs. Job is going to be in that double column, so it's not going to be all of the poetry, but that's the same with the Canterbury as well. When you get into Job, it's going to be in that double column format, but just beautiful. And then let's compare the red letters, because a lot of people say Schuyler's red letters are better, and I am going to contend with you that I do not believe that's true. So there's Schuyler's red letter. It does have a little more burgundy tint to it, and I'll show you as we get into this one. But when you compare the red letters, it's not a big, massive difference. This looks just as dark. It's just this has a little bit more of that crimson. This is beautiful. I am telling you, I am absolutely sold on the Sovereign series. I am absolutely sold on these editions. This large print, and it's not super thick, so you almost get the advantage of like a large print thin line, although it's a little thicker than a thin line. But this is a full-size Bible. This is going to be in that 9 to 6-ish range, and it looks to be about 1.5 inches thick, but just gorgeous. Love these things. What do you all think? God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nicholsworth.